episode is brought to you by GameFound. Create a free pledge manager for your project.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Spring Spectacular. My name is Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
And this is Crowdsurfing, which is its own video normally each week, and it's still its own video today. This is where we take a look at projects that are being crowdfunded on GameFound and Kickstarter, and we talk about them and tell you what we think of them and go from there. We are definitely past the point of very little Kickstarters. Kickstarters are in full swing, but it is an interesting lot today.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of ups and downs, I think. There's a through line of very eye-catching, cartoony designs, though. I gotta say, overall, I'm a fan of the artwork. Again, for most of them. And we should mention we only take a look at projects here ending the next 8 days or so, folks. So if there's something you don't see, you'll see it next week if it's got some more days left.
Well, that brings up another point, Z. I don't believe we're going to be having next week. Is that correct?
Nope, we are having next week.
Oh, we are.
Talked about
Z,
it like 6 times.
We're having this next week. We're having it next week. You're right. Look, I was distracted by so much cartoony goodness this week that I got confused. I'm easily confused.
Mike has been winning too many games. That's the thing.
Wow. I actually won. I think one or two. You're right.
That's true. All right, folks. So for those of you who are watching, normally at the end of Crowdsurfing, we talk about some funny, interesting projects that are not games. For interest of time today, to make sure we can get to our 3 o'clock Spring Spectacular thing, we're going to cut those out. But as I've said, if you find interesting things like that, send them to me. You do not need to send me game projects. I've been getting a lot of those lately. I'm already looking at the game project specifically. So you sending it to me doesn't change anything either way. Either I've already decided to add it or I'm not going to. So just keep that in mind. But if you have an interesting thing, send it to me at tom@dicetower.com, especially if it has anything to do with something that makes me laugh out loud. I love those. All right. We have a contest. Woo. And this is for Stellaris. Now, this is a Kickstarter project which we are not going to be talking about today because it's still a while before it ends. But this is a big Kickstarter project right now being run by Academy Games. This is a 4X space game based on a very popular computer game from Paradox Games. I know that you can go get it on Steam, and this Kickstarter raised $2 million in the first week.
Wow.
So yeah, I know. It's an immersive 4X space game where you can create your own species, something I've always liked doing, design your empire, and compete to complete objectives against other players. And the decisions you make will have immediate effects and long-term repercussions. It says it will often last for games. We already have that sort of thing in the studio. Mike beats me in the game, and I'll be like, long-term repercussions.
You're not kidding, Tom.
I'm not kidding. So you're interacting with other players, trying to influence people, growing politically and economically. Anyhow, you can win a copy of this game. No copy. Sorry. I got all mixed up there. But you can go look at this game online and check it out. So thank you to Academy Games for sponsoring this episode. And we'll talk even more about Stellaris next week.
All right, cool.
All right, so let's jump into our projects here. We are starting with Monster Invasion. So this one is on GameFound. And GameFound is still kind of stepping into the water. So they're usually I think this is the third project that we have seen on GameFound.
You had ISS, Kingdom Rush, and then this one, right?
I think so. Although there's a fourth one. You can see the top screen. Robinson Crusoe. Right. We'll talk about that next week. Monster Invasion. I know that these games are already done. We know this because they're sitting on a shelf here at the Dice Tower. And they're mixing 4 games together. The one that actually interested me the most was this Marry the Monster game, mostly because, I don't know, the theme of this one-legged monster with one arm and the villagers make an identical monster.
If you've only got one leg, how do you get? I mean, I guess you could still get down on one knee, but would it mean as much? I mean, would it have the same gravitas if you only have one leg and you're getting down on one knee to propose?
I'm actually thinking more along the lines of, how is that monster running in that position on the cover?
Yeah, I agree. He's booking it towards the straw monster there, but his center of gravity is real low. Like, I mean, like around the ankle.
Backwards. Right. I'm just trying to figure out, because it doesn't look like he's hopping. It looks like there's an invisible leg behind him.
I guess
these are questions that demand answers, actually.
Alrighty. So anyhow, evacuate and potions and profits. So there's 5 different game designers. I'm not a big fan about mixing games in the same project, that sort of thing. But who knows?
Especially games that don't seem to perhaps appeal to the same crowd, right? These are these kind of games. When you throw a mix of games into a pot like this, a couple of things happen. Usually is one, you assume, maybe correctly or incorrectly, that none of them are good enough to stand on their own, which is a bad look. And then the other thing that happens is this, which they all kind of appeal to different people. So you go, well, that one looks interesting, but I got to go through all this and more everything about the ones I don't care about, and I move on. I don't know. Yeah. It's one of those things.
I will say it's encouraging that all the rule books are there. It looks like you can play them all on Tabletop Simulator. That's usually a pretty good sign, right? You can at least check them out first.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious about this one. They didn't have a big goal here, just 5,000. So they fund it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I say that a lot as I come down to things. All right. Jumping into
more monsters.
Monsters, right. A cooperative tabletop adventure. Although this is very, very, very cartoony. Yes. Like, if you didn't put that name on the cover, I would not have thought that was the name of the game.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. And then monsters. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think like Ice Cream Defenders or something. That's what that cover looks like to me. I don't know. I'm getting a real iOS app vibe from this. It's also, I should probably mention, unlikely to fund this game at this point.
It's not looking
What's
good.
it at? 35.
Has 2 days left. Has 46 hours left. And it is shy, 25 grand? So it's unlikely to make it.
Well, the reason I'm here is because I don't think the game looks bad. I think it looks interesting. I like the art a lot. It looks like it's, almost geared towards kids a little bit. Maybe that's the thing. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Maybe they need more information about the game. They have some.
Perhaps. And it looks like it's their first project, so maybe they'll take some lessons they've learned from this one and relaunch it. You never know.
Right. It looks like their graphic design could definitely use a second, twice over. Clean that up.
I'm calling this now, though. I would not be surprised to see this get relaunched with miniatures instead of standees.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Moving on. Business as usual. I just talked about how I like the art. I don't care for the art of the people. Like, I like these buildings in the background here.
Yes.
So this is a strategic race for wealth and power. I like the way the board looks.
Yeah,
I don't like the cover, though.
Unappealing.
Like, I feel like this cover doesn't match the game.
Yeah.
I really dislike I think, though. No, I like these people. I don't like them on the cards.
A lot of purple on this game. Everybody's purple.
Lots of purple, yes.
Everybody's hair, glasses, shirts have purple. It's like, wow. No, I'm not really loving this, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing here.
I like economic games and games about things like this.
But, it's got a pretty limited player count. It looks like it's a 3 to 4 player game. That could be hurting it. Economic games are very, very hit or miss, Tom. A lot of people like them, but a lot of people, as soon as they hear it's economic, they're going to go in the other direction. So maybe it's a little niche.
I'm also not sure if the look of this game screams economic game.
Right.
I understand that's the theme. I get that, but it looks really cartoony. So I look at this and I go economic. Okay, but is it a serious game or like a silly that's my building now kind of game?
Right. Well, it worked for Stockpile. Who knows?
All right. As Good as It Gets. A forgettable movie. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's an award-winning film, sir.
Do not care. So boring. Oof. Anyhow.
It's almost as good as The English Patient.
This is kind of weird because, again, this is another game that doesn't seem like it matches the name. As Good as It Gets. If I told you that's what the game was about, you wouldn't even know what that meant. You would think it was based on probably the movie. But
right. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You are immortal. But over the year, you slowly turn into a potato.
I do wonder when we're going to, if ever, hit the saturation point for these judges type of games where it just maybe I fully stipulate that I may be incorrect here because I've never tried to, but I've got to think that this must be the easiest type of game in the world to design, where you just have these different scenarios and you put them together. It just seems like there's very little here. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. This already exists, this game. This is not a new game.
Multiple versions of it.
Oh, yeah.
This may be the first one of these I've seen that is straight up family friendly. I think it's family friendly.
Seems to be.
But
yeah, I agree. This is also, they say there's a lot of replayability, but it's 100 cards of each kind. That's not that many, really. I know that they're saying like the combinations are unlikely to come up again. But ultimately, the combinations are really not that important. Because if the bad card is like, you're going to die in a week, I don't care what the green card is.
Right.
So, it's we've seen a lot of this. Like you said, Mike, and then Tom Stock. It's the same thing. Now, in a vacuum, do I think this might be a cute gift for someone? Yeah. I mean, like, someone who enjoys party games and they want to give this a try, sure. But
do you think it's $30 for 200 cards good?
No, that's expensive.
You were talking about the name. Yeah, that's true. You were talking about the name, Tom. Let me ask you this. Do you think the game would be more popular if go down a little bit. Right there. Would the game be better if it was called Get Butt?
Moving on to Caper Europe.
Okay.
Now, there was a normal Caper game, right?
Yes.
That's right, baby.
I've not played it. Is it good?
Z hates it.
Woo! It's good, Tom.
It's good. It's very good.
I like it.
Well, Keymaster they're like becoming a connoisseur of Kickstarter, right? Because they did the Parks games. Yeah. Parks, Space Park.
Campy Creatures,
Yeah, they did a second edition of Campy Creatures. They've done actually second edition quite a few games at this point, which I guess is, part of me is like, oh, that's great. They're refining things. But of course, there's that part of me who's like, I already have the other one. No. So, but anyway.
It's a 2-player drafting game. It sounds really good.
Yeah, and this one's got some solid changes. Actually, the core will be the same. You are sending out your thieves and giving them equipment in order to pull off heists in a very abstracted way. Of course, it's kind of a tug of war game. Mm-hmm. But they've added a few things. They added a whole new city, which when you set up the game, you shuffle in a city cards, and so you might be playing in Barcelona now, or you might be playing in Paris, or what have you. And then they've added a central board, which is a little bit larger. It has these tokens you can push and pull. It looks like a nice revision that they worked with the designer on to make this sort of the ultimate edition of Caper. I'm very excited for it. Very excited. I love Caper. I have the original one from them, and it's a great game.
I'll say Keymaster is a company now. They have created an aesthetic that I'm going to be interested just because it's so gorgeous. I mean, hopefully, they've made some good games too, but their games look very, very unique.
Ooh.
What's that say?
It's too long to read, but it's all good.
Better quote than yours.
I know. Shut up. Moving on to Death Valley, which when I first saw it I thought this was Keymaster Games. I really did.
Yeah, right.
I
right.
know. Actually, when I first saw it, I thought this was a big game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I scrolled down. I'm like, oh, this is a wallet game.
One of the wallet games. Yeah.
Well, that's fine, but this is I almost feel gypped that's not the cover. Death Valley.
It's gorgeous. The artwork in this, the look of those cards, excellent. Yeah. I actually just felt a little defeated because I was hoping this would be a big game, not just 18 cards worth of this beautiful artwork. But this looks really exciting. I don't think I've been this into a wallet game since Tussie Mussie, probably. I mean, the look of it. I'm really excited about this.
I hope it's good.
It looks gorgeous. The prices are always right on these wallet games, so I'm interested.
Olympus Races, the racing game of the gods, which interesting is this is not the first game that exists about gods racing. Ares Games has one. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't necessarily hate this artwork when used in a proper way. It doesn't work for me with the Olympus theme at all.
Really?
No, this isn't doing it for me.
I love the way it looks.
No. I would too if it wasn't Olympus. That doesn't match, right? These aren't like the Greek gods. These are, I don't know. It might just be me. I don't hate the art. I just don't like the way it's done in this theme.
No, it's not you, just you. I'm not really loving the look of it either, actually.
Interesting. I'm definitely.
And here they change it to a god. They change people to a god. Yeah. These don't look anything like the people there. I mean, that's okay, I guess. It's odd.
Yeah.
We definitely disagree on this one, guys. I think this game, I love that art style. I just think it's a beautiful game to the point that I might consider backing this if I wasn't really about the gameplay. Because I'm not sure what kind of game this is. This is a roll and move with cards. It's a take that game. I'm not sure. I'm worried that the gameplay isn't going to captivate me necessarily. But the look, that cartoon vibe, oh, I love it. I love the look.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks a little unfinished to me.
It looks a little like Magical Athlete, actually, the gameplay.
That's cool. I mean, I'm liking it. I'm liking the look.
Alrighty, moving on to the Heart of Cthulhu card game. So a unique and interesting theme, Cthulhu.
Well, but look, Tom, this is a big deal because now we can actually confirm that Cthulhu has a heart. I didn't know that before, so I'd wondered often, but now I know.
It's going to be expansions to this, the lungs of Cthulhu.
Cthulhu's gallbladder. Yeah.
It looks like a take that game.
It's supposed to be, they described it as what, like a card game meets an RPG?
RPG, yeah.
I don't know. It's basically, and I hope it's good, but I believe this project, first and foremost, a showcase of this artist's artwork. If you watch it, that's where he's coming from. He's saying, I have all this artwork, I wanted to do something else with it, so I made a game. Okay. And so if I'm here first and foremost for the artwork, great. If I'm here for the game, I don't know. I'm not sure. This I'm sure about.
Yeah.
All right. CULTivate.
Are you going to say it like that every time?
Well, I think, isn't there already a game called CULTivate?
I would imagine
a gardening game. Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now because it sounds like there would be a game called CULTivate.
I've seen that.
There's one on Board Game Geek. It's a 1-to-4 player game. It's actually coming out in 2021.
I was gonna say, I thought there was a new one.
Labs. It's from the same people who made the Yarn game.
Right.
And it's about drafting plants and putting them in a planter box and stuff. So, well, I guess they didn't cross streams here, but this one is about starting a cult.
Yes.
Now, oddly enough, this is where I think this artwork works.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Tom. I don't think the game looks interesting at all, but I think this is a similar aesthetic to the other one, and I like it here.
Yeah, because it feels like it fits in that spy versus spy world.
Mm-hmm.
I like it too, but I don't think I don't know. I like both. I like the artwork of a lot of games this week. And you don't like this vibe, Mike? You don't like what's going on here?
I like everything except that it looks like it's very take that-y. I'm not so sure. It just depends on how it's utilized. I mean, take that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not interested, but oftentimes I feel like that mechanic is used as a crutch. So I'd have to see how it plays out here, you know. I'm
a big fan of the way these little meeple type things look.
Me too.
I love that symbolistic. It's like what do you call that when you just show a few characteristics? It's not necessarily a caricature, but you know what I mean. It's
like a silhouette. I don't know. I'm not sure what you would call it, but yeah, no, I like the look of it. I like the idea of this pattern building. I'm big on spatial pattern recognition stuff. As long as the take that isn't too, because there's nothing worse to me than when you're setting up, 2-3 turns to get a pattern right, and someone could play a card that ruins it. So
sure.
as long as it avoids that type of thing,
it looks good to me.
Kickstarter page.
It's a very good looking Kickstarter page. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know, but I'm hoping that it's a little more well put together than that, Mike. So that's the side I'm falling on this. I think this is okay. Right. It looks good. All
right, good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna use your positivity. I'm gonna soak it in.
I got in trouble for saying this before, but I don't actually know any of the people who they've had reviewed it. So I guess I'm gonna learn about some new channels here. I've never.
Oh, Tom doesn't know about them. Suddenly, they can't say anything on Kickstarter. You're gonna get in trouble again.
That's right.
No. I mean, it's just interesting. That's. Mm-hmm. This is also their first created game. It's pretty good look for a first created game. There's a lot of first created games this week.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks good.
Ready or Not, the board game. You know why this one's in here? Because this tagline is ridiculous.
It saved me a lot of time. I thank them. I thank them for that, Tom.
With the creators of Trivial Pursuit and Dungeons & Dragons to make a family board game. Well, first of all, the creators of Dungeons & Dragons have passed away. And I'm pretty sure the Red Cross is not actually making a board game. So I don't understand what that tagline even means.
They made it first. I was like, wait, who came together to make this? But then as soon as I got down a little bit more and saw some of these videos, I'm like, okay, they're just saying that.
Right.
Yeah, but this isn't actually involving any of those people. You need to be careful saying that.
Yeah. Right. Other than that, it looks horrible. I'm sorry. And then again, I don't mean to jump on it too much because, again, it's another first-time project, but it's this tagline that just caught me. But it's made 11,000. It doesn't look like it's going to fund, but a lot of people, oh, no, never mind. Man, I need to start looking at backer numbers.
Yeah.
That is suspicious. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Food Time Battle in Space. This is only on the list because the name made me smile.
Really? Sure, I guess.
Okay. You're allowed to smile. You know what it made me do?
Move on to the next project.
I actually went back to CULTivate, and I was like, now this is how you do this artwork.
I like the name of this restaurant, though. Jalapeno! That's a good name for a restaurant.
That is pretty good.
Some interesting things here, but it doesn't look like a great game. But I actually thought this was I don't know if I'd like it or not, but it's definitely a different art style.
It's neat. Again, lots of great looking games. They're not all. I don't know if they're mechanically interesting, especially to me. It's such a personal thing, but I find a lot of games this week have done their homework when it comes to looking neat, looking interesting. This is one of them.
I think I would at least give this a play based on the art and the graphic design.
And it's such a silly, disarming kind of theme that you're like, all right, fine, okay, I'm gonna run a restaurant on the moon. Let's see. Yeah, it's cute.
Who hasn't dreamed of running a restaurant on the moon?
I haven't, Mike. What have you?
I may have. City of Winter. A handmade scroll and map unfurled to reveal a fantasy story game of one family's quest to find home in a city of strangeness and wonder. This person was required a certain number of words to put in their sentences when they wrote them.
I guess
doing really well, though.
So what else has Ross made here? I want to look at this real quick before we jump in, because I don't think I've played any of his games, but it looks like they have this pull-out board.
Posters for cats. Wait, posters for cats?
Inspiration.
They're posters not about cats, but for cats.
Inspirational posters for cats.
All right. Anyhow, this is weird because this is the one that's doing really well.
It is.
$101,000. And I look at it and think, I mean, I guess it's more RPG. It's like a neat product. Yeah. This is like a gift I would buy somebody, but it's a good game.
Yeah, it's a conversation piece. It seems
you talk
like
about a linear quest in an RPG. You're on rails.
Right.
Like, I would like to go back to that city. I'm sorry, but we've already progressed in the scroll. You are not going back.
I've got my coffee mug there. We're not going behind the coffee mug.
Like this map.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder how many. I mean, there are cards. I thought the same thing till I got to the cards, Tom, and I thought, okay, maybe it'll be different. You know, maybe it'll mix it up as we go. But I forget if this is the one that was very much a storytelling game. I think this is the one. There's so many projects this week.
Yes.
And I thought, like, oh, another, storytelling game.
Got a lot of good reviews here, so maybe it is good. And it's definitely closer to the RPG side of things. So, again,
and it's unique, right? We haven't talked about a lot of projects like this. It's definitely unique.
I want to be careful. I'm just guessing on this one. I'm not trashing on it in a sense. Oh. I just thought the scroll thing was unique, but I wonder as an RPG you find it limiting.
Yeah, I don't know.
The scroll thing is awesome, and I'm sure if you could play the game and even like play it a few times, whatever, and then you could put that scroll up on your wall, that might look really cool,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on here because we gotta keep going. Valeria Card Kingdom's Darksworn.
Valeria.
Why did I say Valeria? Valeria.
I have no idea, Tom. Valeria was a character in Greece, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
My problem with this is when I see the title here, I'm like, oh, there's an expansion. Which game is it an expansion for? Because I don't remember what any of the Valeria games are. This one's Card Kingdoms.
This is Card Kingdoms. This is like the one that's similar to it's the one that's similar to Machikoro or Space Base.
This is the first one they did.
Yes. This makes it cooperative. Is basically what it's doing here. It turns it into a cooperative game.
Now
does that say VCR?
No, VCA. No. VCK.
Valeria Card
You get a
Kingdoms.
tape. With this, you get a tape which plays events.
Correct. Be kind. Rewind.
I'm normally against changing a game into co-op, but I think that game might work well with co-op because my biggest problem with the game, Mike, was that it would stagnate sometimes where I didn't want to kill a creature because I knew there was a better creature underneath it that you would kill.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I honestly think this game would work very well as a co-op game, and I don't think you would have to change the fundamental mechanics very much. I do like the artwork that has been throughout this. So I'm interested. Now there's a ridiculous amount of content for this game. Do you need more? I don't know, but if you want to make it a cooperative game, I can certainly see it for that.
I didn't even see this in the first time. They're like, just so you know, if you got the big box, it's full. So we made a bigger box.
You're going to need a bigger box.
We're going to need a bigger box.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Okay, Pagan, the fate of Roanoke. If ever there was a mystery in American history, it's Roanoke that has been solved multiple ways. Well, here's one of the ways. With a asymmetrical deduction game. Another first-time user. I don't know. I want to like it based on the theme / idea.
Yeah.
I do like what's going on here. It seems to be, it's giving me real collectible card game vibes. That's what the cards look like, but then it's asymmetric side, so you are playing differently based on what side you're on. Mm-hmm. But I like the artwork. I like the tone. I like the sort of spooky mystery it's got going on. And I like the fact that it's kind of a CCG-esque feeling game. I don't like that near the top somewhere, they promise more content coming soon.
Yeah.
They don't know that. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't know that. If this doesn't do well enough for you, then you will not be out a bunch of extra expansions. So that made me a little apprehensive. I think this might end up. I'm not always a fan of a game that baits you with the potential for more content and stalls, and you got what you got when you bought in thinking you were going to get more. There was going to be more eventually. Yeah. So, but I do like the way this looks, and I do like that theme quite a bit.
One thing that's interesting is if you look at the creator here, it says he's the CEO of Digiced, or Digidiced. I want to say that they've made a lot of board game apps. If it's the company I'm thinking of,
the main one here is it teaches you how to play games. I thought.
They do the Terra Mystica app. They do a bunch of board game apps.
Oh, well.
Since so obviously they've got a background in board
gaming apps are.
Yeah, well, it said it. Yeah, Gaia, Viticulture.
Oh, but Viticulture was a bad app.
It wasn't great. No.
Yeah, no, these apps aren't selling me here, Mike. You just made it go down a little for me here.
Maybe. Well, hey, whatever. But I mean, I think it's interesting that now they're getting into the actual,
All you got to do, Tom, is just get the Roanoke card game, but not the app when they make the app.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Anyhow. So you've been eaten. Now this game, they demoed this game to me. We played it live on this channel here at Essen 2019. I thought it was coming to Kickstarter in 2020, but I guess they delayed it. But it's very, very popular, as you can see here. This is a quote-unquote 0 to 2 player game. And that's essentially because there's, I think, 3 different things you can play. Like you're playing this worm, and the other person's playing a miner that gets deliberately swallowed by the worm. And then you're trying to mine the stuff inside it to get back out before you die. It's a pretty low-paying job. I mean, I think it's a high-paying job, but low risk, or high risk. Anyhow, I enjoyed this a lot. It's really asymmetrical. The reason I say quote-unquote 0 players is because technically there's an AI system, so you can play by yourself, and you could play the AI systems against each other. But that's still not 0 players, since you still need to sit there and do it. You can't leave the room and come back and the game has been completed. And the box is like, I won. Anyway, but I know that they just put that in there, I think, to be silly. That's not the selling point here.
Yeah. The impression I get is that
you've played it and you liked it, Tom, right?
I thought it was a really fun. Again, it's been a year and a half since I played it, but I remember I played the guy inside the worm trying to get the different gems. You're like searching for these crystals and then to get out. It was fun. It was a little bit of push your luck, trying to outplay the other person, but the 2 sides play really differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that it's very, very tongue-in-cheek, but that it does it really well. There's a lot of good, early buzz that I've read about it, and now Tom said he's played it and liked it. So I like the look of it. Quanche Moria has beautiful art, and
I really hate the title. I really don't like this title.
Really? I like the title.
From what I understand, the whole rule book is like that, apparently.
All right. Heroes of Normandy, Big Red One Edition. This is from Devil Pig Games, who at one point, if I'm not mistaken, I thought this company was going out of business.
Devil Pig has flown again.
Sure. Heroes of Normandy, which at the time, for a while, had been picked up by Yellow Games, is a miniatures game, but the miniatures are actually tiles, and it's like a squad combat set in World War II, or at least a pseudo World War II, because I know that there was Cthulhu. There was a Cthulhu version of it. This is not. This one, it looks like it's straight up historical, and it looks like
boring setting of the two.
No, it looks like they. I mean, this map here, doesn't this map look like the Memoir 44 board almost?
It very much does. I agree with you there, yeah.
I mean, there's not too many ways to make a beach look different. It just, as soon as I saw that, I thought, I've played that before, but I definitely haven't. This looks really good. I played the Heroes of Normandy. I enjoyed it. It's a nice, light, tactical war game. There's not a lot of these lighter games like this. You have a few pieces. There's a ton in the game, but each
it doesn't look like a few. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, there's a lot in. But when you play a scenario, usually, at least the ones I played, there's only a few pieces on the board. You know, and like I'll have a couple vehicles, some troops, and I move them around. There's card play, dice. If you like Memoir 44, this is a next step, right? Beyond that.
Yeah.
But it takes you down to the actual specific units. I think
that's a good recommendation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't like that art.
You don't like the cowboy?
That looks like
That's someone who works at that company or a backer, yes.
That's
correct.
That person doesn't look American, actually. But
that's
What about Oddball?
Look, that Oddball looks like a different style. They look really cartoony.
It does.
But that one looks like a person again.
Big Joe.
Big Joe is a backer.
Correct.
And Kelly
definitely backed the game.
Anyhow, this is a good way to get into the game, though. There's a lot.
That's cool. I like this.
Yeah.
I do like it. For the €1 pledge, you're pledging for a crap game. Basically, you're waiting for more stretch goals. So, but there's two ways to read
advertising.
That. I think they're trying
advertising.
It's not expensive though. 36. Well, that's for the upgrade pack for the original one. The core box is 42. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. I'm telling you, because it's plastic, it's just cardboard tokens. They can save you some money. So
right.
But if you want to get everything, then you get the $78 pledge.
Big Joe.
Big Joe. All right.
Big Joe.
This is not a board game, but I thought this was really cool. A 2022 quest calendar, an adventure a day RPG. I'm a big fan of one-day calendars. One of my favorite presents I ever got, Z got me the life hack one or something.
Something like that, and you learned a lot from it, from what I understand.
I did. Every day I would look at it. Well, this one here is the same thing, but it's like a little quest type thing that you can do each day. That's amusing to me. This is like, we were earlier talking about gifts. This seems like the perfect gift to give someone who likes RPGs.
That's true.
It really does. I think this is so outside of the box. I saw this and I kept thinking to myself, surely this is a thing. People must have done this, but I can't think of any other time I've seen a one-a-day RPG. That's neat. And you can, I mean, at the beginning of the year, you pick a character, they have stats, they have abilities. You are kind of, playing an RPG very slowly over a year, but that's neat. That's very neat.
It really is. It's very, very unique. Like you said, a great gift.
I almost want this now. I think actually it's.
Why don't you give this gift to yourself? Give yourself the gift of adventure.
Treat yourself.
All right. A lot of games bundle, print and play. Really badly put together title there, by the way.
5,000% funded.
How much did they want? 76.
Boo that they're advertising that. Boo to that 5%, 100%, 26 minutes. You cannot advertise that when your goal is $76. That is.
But what if you put a Jawa on your logo? Can you do it then?
Here's the thing. I don't even think these games look half bad.
I think they look more than half bad.
No, they look
about 82% caca.
They look 5,000% bad, Tom.
That's impossible mathematically. Okay, at least I said a normal number.
Stop it, you two. I don't think these look that bad. It's just that top part puts me off so much. I won't back it straight because of that. Because you put that 5,000 garbage in there. Come on.
This goes to show you how people are just completely infatuated by this roll and write, and how quickly you could put one together. Maybe not a good one, okay? Yeah. But how quickly you could put one together, because this is just a bunch of roll and writes.
Mm-hmm.
This looks terrible. Tom, you like these?
I don't think they look that bad, actually. But I don't think. Here's the thing. I think they look as good as most roll and writes. But for some reason.
No.
No, but that's because I don't think most roll and writes look that great, Mike.
Come on, Tom. Really? You think most roll and writes look like Jurassic Hunt? I don't think so. I think that looks. I'm sorry. I think that looks. I'm not trying to be really mean. It just looks very amateur. It looks like, but again, this is print and play. I mean, I think that is a smart idea, actually. I don't think it's a bad idea to offer print and play roll and write games. I'd like them to look like it's worth money.
All right, let's move on. Llamasters, a party game with augmented reality, because if ever I wanted to play an augmented reality game, I wanted to do a game where they took famous movies and changed the characters to llamas.
Sure.
So we have, we have Queen Llama, that's Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe, sure.
I don't know why the sloth showed up in the thing, but he's
Killer
moving.
Sloth.
Killer Sloth. But we have Dr. Strange Llama. We have the Thief Llama. I think that's anyway, I don't know. I hate this so much. I hate this so much.
For that print and play roll and write page, because this is...
I would rather do the print and play than this garbage.
I agree. This looks like a really bad.
It's interesting where it says how to
rip off.
It says how to win and how to lose, but under how to lose is the pledge button. I don't understand that. It's odd. So,
oh my word! All right, let's move on. That's all right. Theurgy, air control game of monsters and miracles.
Oh,
I was like, this is from the Ministry of Meeples. This is one of those games where people are not gonna. I don't know the how do you pronounce it? So on. I like these monster meeples. Those are kind of cool.
Screen printed meeples. Yeah. Oh boy, I don't know.
How do you guys?
About the llamas.
What did you guys think? Did you like the look of this?
It looks okay, actually.
I'm on the fence. With this one, honestly. I don't love the name. I know it's maybe stupid to get hung up on, but it does.
I like how these tiles look a lot. I like that kind of 3D look at
kind of the isometric
angle.
View.
Yeah, I like that angle. That looks good. Unless you're the person up to that board.
Because it kind of gives you a little bit of the Sid Meier's vibe, right? It has a little bit of that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This looks like a. I don't know how well of a thought out Euro game this is. The hexes, like Euro game hexes, there are a lot of them that look like this, and honestly, I always find that look very uninspired. I can be proven wrong, that Eldervale or whatever. What's the one you like, Mike?
Dwellings of Eldervale, yeah.
Yeah, Eldervale, it has the big hex and that real uninspired look in the center of the game. But the game is good. But normally, one of my absolute turnoffs when it comes to a game that I don't know much about is here's a bunch of hexes, forests, or dilapidated buildings or some garbage, and you move cubes from one hex to another hex, and the little meeple, and the whatever. It's like, dude, put me to sleep. So I don't know. I'm not loving the look. I'm not loving anything about it. It kind of, I'm getting a real Euro game, the Euro game vibe from this.
I'm not hating on it as much as you.
Yeah, I'm not super hating on it because I can see people liking this, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not saying this one necessarily looks that bad. I'm saying it looks uninspired to what I'm looking for.
All right. Catacombs and Castles 2nd edition plus the black box expansion.
Oh, it's the adult box.
So Tom, you remember how you were talking about the Valeria thing, or as you were calling it, Valeria, how that's a little confusing to me? This is a little confusing to me because I'm not really up on the Catacombs world. So, because aren't there a bunch of different Catacombs types of games?
Well, there's 3 games, right? So there's Catacombs and there's Catacombs Cubes, which is its own game. Catacombs and Castles, some of that stuff can work with Catacombs, but this is, instead of it being a role-playing game where you go through and flick one person's the monsters, everyone else's heroes going through, this one's just a team versus team. All your characters are on one, you have characters on one side, I have them on the other side, we're flicking at each other using special abilities. It's just like a 2-player back and forth, flick 'em up game. It's been a while since I played it. I like Catacombs better, for sure, just Catacombs here. But Catacombs and Castles was fun. It was just fun to use the different special abilities, and it's still a flicking game. This just has more stuff in it. I'm looking for the black box here. It's a new expansion. Oh, that comes with a new playmat and some alternate monsters.
Oh, okay.
And is it adult themed?
Ooh,
No.
Catacombs After Dark.
It's like AEG used to sell those black boxes where you didn't know what you were getting. That's what I thought it would be at first. Like,
And they were
there's an
all
expansion.
adult themed games.
Oh, they were not. Moving on.
Filthy.
Hit the silk.
Hit the silk.
This is a phrase I didn't know was a phrase.
Me neither.
Yeah, hitting the silk. You've never heard that?
I do think it's interesting that this game needs
I
19,000.
get it. You know what? All right, if you're gonna ignore me, at least be like, say something like "ignoring you," and then move on.
Let me rephrase. Ignoring Z, the phrase, the goal is 19,217, and they made 19,618. It's like very specifically just beat the goal.
I like the. You said the tagline before you didn't like. This one I like. 4 desperate hijackers, only 3 parachutes. I like that.
Oh yeah, and I like the name actually because the name actually means something. It's just that I never heard it before.
No, I hadn't either. I had not. I like the look of this though, actually, quite a bit.
Man, I hope this one's good because this has a cool theme. It sounds interesting.
The graphic design, I think, looks terrific.
Yes.
You know, this makes me think a little bit of theme-wise is Lifeboat. Remember the game from Guerrilla Games Z where everyone's stuck in a boat?
That's
That's Lifeboat, not Lifeboats.
You're right. That is Lifeboat, not Lifeboats. Yes, I do. I do know what you mean, and I do get that similar vibe. It's which is some interesting strategy, but there are certain take that aspects to it that aren't dumb or annoying. They are more about getting into the theme, right? Tom, would you agree with that about Lifeboat? I'm hoping,
but you also expect it, right?
They are expected, right? I mean, you're in a setting where you would be trying to get one of those parachutes. So I agree. I'm hoping this is one where the take that nature is both expected and palatable.
Right.
All right, luxury dungeon. First of all,
Hrothgar's Horde.
First of all, these folks have never seen actual luxury dungeon tiles. However, I just put this one here because I thought it was somewhat interesting. And yeah, it's putting them together with magnets and stuff. I know, I just thought it to be slightly interesting here. It's an interesting idea with magnets. Yeah. All right, moving on.
I'd rather get the ones we saw, what was it, a couple of weeks ago that were programs. Remember those? That you would make these things for? Yeah.
Right.
Faux Diamonds and Baseball Highlights, the dice game. So both of these games originally from Eagle Griffin Games, both from Mike Fitzgerald. Diamonds, a trick-taking game. Baseball Highlights, a little bit of a deck-building game of sorts. Both good games. I never actually sat around and thought, I wish they were roll and write games, but hey, they are.
Well, Faux Diamonds is...
Faux Diamonds is not a roll and write. It's
like a spin-off of Diamonds?
Yeah.
Am I the only person, though, who thinks that Fox Diamonds is that Faux Diamonds is a terrible name?
It's not great.
Yes, I don't dislike that type. Okay, Faux Diamonds, it's okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's like Diamonds, but not. And well, what if you never heard of Diamonds? Also, that cover, I don't like it.
That cover is definitely prototype number 1 cover. I mean, I hope it changes. But
look like prototypes too, don't they?
Yeah,
they do. The game doesn't look great. It sounds fun. I've seen a little bit more about it, and the game sounds like a fun trick-taking game. The other one, I don't care for that theme in a roll and write or any sort of board game. So whatever. But I'm sure it's an interesting game. Mike Fitzgerald's a good designer. He does.
I don't want to poo-poo on that, but I also. Again, I don't feel like I don't know. I mean, does every game need to be turned into a roll and write?
Yes.
No, they've also got football highlights dice game now too, like as part of this.
You know what's kind of weird? All the banners. Go back to any banner. They're using the font from Marvel United. The Marvel United videos.
Oh.
That look like font.
Wow.
And that the arch on the font. Like any one of them. If you look at like the new announcement for the X-Men Marvel United, that's what the font and that's what it looks like. So it's like it took me out right away.
This stretch goal, I think, is the best looking graphics in this thing here.
That's cool.
Like
That's very cool. Yeah.
No, I like it. Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of these, like, I love baseball highlights, but I'm not going to say it has good graphic design. Football highlights is even worse. So that's the biggest problem I have with these. I think they're probably really good games. Mike Fitzgerald, not only is a great guy, but really good designer. I would play a roll and write that he designed, but man, can we not make these look a little better?
Yeah,
I agree. I am in that Faux game, but I would love to have a little bit more graphic design. Yeah.
Someone in chat said my new law of 2021 is every sufficiently successful game eventually gets a roll and write edition. That might be a decent,
pretty good law.
be.
All right, Eternal Palace, a dice placement and painting Euro game. Now, this is another inexpensive game here, to some degree. This is from Alley Cat Games. This theme is getting close to being used so much that the games are blurring together.
Yeah, it is getting there.
But man, this one sure looks pretty.
Gosh, this looks really good. I like dice placement. I like the idea of building this panorama. I mean, we've seen some things similarly with, like Canvas. That's at least a similar idea. I'm pretty taken with this.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree. I think this is a great looking game. Steve Aramini, the designer, is a very good designer of family weight kind of games.
Yes.
He knows how to do that kind of game. They're very, very easy to get into, very welcoming kind of game. And then you combine that with this great look, this neat theme. It's got solo cards, which I know is the only thing Mike DeLisio cares about, and I am in. If the game looks this good and Mike is happy, I am in. I don't care about Tom. I don't care what he thinks, if he likes it
You've
or not.
said everything I
You've
need
made
to
that
say.
clear in the past.
You know what, Tom? Ignoring you now. I think that's what it was.
All right. Well, folks, I just put a poll in the description. So it's time to vote on which of these you're most interested in. So go ahead and vote on that. Meanwhile, let's see what we're most interested in. We'll start with Mike. I'm just going to stay on the same page because I will bet this is it.
You can stay right on that page. That's definitely my pick of the week. I'm very excited about this. Z said everything that I'm excited about, so I don't need to do it because I cannot do it as well. I could not say it as well as Z, so I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. Is it me, Tom?
It is you.
Well, any other week, Mike, this might have been my pick too, man. I'm telling you, this looks lovely. But it is Caper for sure for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Caper, man. Favorite games, and this looks like such a wonderful edition of the game. I can't wait to see this in person and give it a go. So if you're not up and up on this one, folks, and you like your 2-player games, if you like drafting, you got to check this out. It's a wonderful little card game. Really, really fun, beautiful stuff.
It is.
You got to play this one, Tom.
It's good,
yes,
Tom.
I'm really certainly good. Put it on the Catch-a-Palooza list, Chris.
Yeah.
I definitely almost picked the 2020 the calendar. But I'm going to go with So You've Been Eaten. And cool. Again, a little bit of a cheat because I've already played this one, but I will say that I don't like all this company's games. A lot of their games I've played, I thought were merely okay. Ludicreations has put a lot of stuff on Kickstarter. I like some of them. I think some are okay. This one, I went into it with a really bad attitude in a sense where I was like, that whole 0 to 2 thing, I got caught up on that.
Yeah. You're also hit or miss on Scott Alm's games too, Tom.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
But this one really worked for me, so I really like it. This wasn't a week where there was like anything that like blew me away necessarily, but I think this one looks cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing the upgraded version of this one.
Sure.
All right, people were really divided this week. Votes for all kinds of things. A few games got no votes at all, but it is one of our three parts.
I'm not sure who the people would have picked this week.
Actually,
maybe. Oh, go ahead.
I was to say the top 4 games were the 3 that we mentioned and the calendar. Which one of those made it to the top?
I'm going to say
People's
Caper.
Choice.
I'm going to say So You've Been Eaten.
And the answer is Eternal Palace.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
So there you go.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What? So cool. Well, there you go, folks. We're going to end like right now because in 5 minutes, we're going to be playing a game live here on the Dice Tower. So give us a chance to run over and do that. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm
Mike Alicio. Oh, I blew it, Z. I blew it. I was so excited to run over to the next game. I'm Mike Alicio.
Once again, folks, we mentioned check out Stellaris. It's on Kickstarter now. We'll have a link in the description of our video. Cool 4X game. See y'all.